Well, today I'm just going to do some general maintenance to the truck. The brake rotors, don't move as freely as I'd like them to, and also when I'm braking really hard, I'm getting a little bit more of a pull to one side rather than the other. And after just doing a little bit of inspection, I think it's pretty much all isolated to the lubrication of the pins, which that needs to be done. Plus, I'm going to check to make sure that these calipers here are riding on a surface and have sufficient clearance. So we're going to go on through today and pull this on apart and see you clean it on up, put some special lubricant on it, and put it back together. And as far as the special lubricant, I really have two different types. One is for the pins, something the silicone paste. And that special lubricant, if you do a little bit of looking around online, it seems like a lot of people are happy with using silicone paste. It's actually a dielectric compound, so if you want to actually use this for other applications such as like electrical connections, that's fine, as well as well, gosh, you can even use this, I believe, on your bushings for your suspension parts. So that's what I'm going to be using here to lubricate the pins. And as far as the actual metal on metal contact, I'm going to be using a different lubricant, and this is a brake lube. This is not for brake pads, it's for the brake surfaces, or the metal surfaces that actually are in contact with each other. And if you do a little bit of looking around on this particular product, you'll find that it has a couple different properties. One is that it's a very high temperature lubricant, which is pretty darn good. And the second part is that it actually helps with for anti-corrosion. Since you're going to have to clean those parts up, you're going to have bare metal exposed. Definitely anything that can help with minimizing corrosion is going to be beneficial to make sure that this maintenance job lasts as long as it possibly can. So today I'm going to go ahead and take the caliper on off, and I'll take a few clips here and there on cleaning it on up, and then hopefully that'll be pretty much straightforward. And this, by the way, is a Ford F350 4x4 with a single front axle. I think it's a Dana 60, and then so it's got disc brakes all the way around, and it also has a Drome emergency brake, which is a separate topic. But so anyway, we're going to go ahead and take this apart, clean it on up, put it back together, and hopefully that'll actually give me a little bit better braking performance in terms of grabbing onto the shoe and as well as releasing it after you let off your foot off the brake. So that's it for now. Okay, I have it all disassembled here. Place the brake caliper. Have the brake caliper here tied up with a wire, and the bracket that holds the caliper plus the pins are right here. Pins don't seem too bad here well, that one actually is stiff. There's this one right here. Oops, if I can show you. That one's pretty darn good lubricated, and this one doesn't move. So that's a good indication that this thing needs a little work. So I'm going to take both of these on off, clean them on up, and I also have a bracket here where these brake shoes slide on along that little track inside there. So I'm going to take that on out and clean it on up, put a little bit of a lubricant on it, but the most important thing really is to get this guy right here. I'll take my gloves off so you can see a little bit better. I can't turn this thing. I can't push this thing in. This one, no problem. So if you have any sort of strange things going on in your truck about brakes, it might not be a bad idea to take a look at this. So again, I'm going to take this on off, clean it on up, and put it back together here, and maybe even do a little bit of buffing here on the brake pads, only on the matching surfaces or the mating surfaces. And so we'll go through this a little bit, step by step, clean it on up, put it back together, and I think it'll be all right. So that's it for right now. Okay, just a quick little overview too here. These brake shoes, they pretty stiff in here. I'm trying to squeeze these together. Oh boy, that one doesn't even budge. So I'm going to loosen, do a little bit of filing on the end here, and then clean up these slideways here, and try to get this thing so it moves a little bit better. And again, I'm going to try to clean this guy on up, because, like I say, this sliding pin doesn't even work, and this guy over here, no problem. So again, we'll go ahead and try to take a few clips of video on how this is all going together here, but definitely, again, it looks like this needs a little bit of work. Well, as you can see, some parts you just can't maintenance. So, I did finally get that that bolt to turn there, that slider, but not the kind of result that I was hoping for. It sheared it off. So, I guess the moral of the story is here is it's probably best to do some routine maintenance to your brakes. And so what this is going to require me to do is go on down and get another caliper, which isn't a big deal. But after I get this caliper, of course, I'm going to go ahead and do some maintenance to all the other ones to make sure that this doesn't happen. Aside from the fact that, more importantly, is that you should be doing, or I should be doing this more frequently, just because, you know, if your caliper is not moving on those sliding pins, then you're not getting all the braking force that you need. So anyway, I'll run on down to the auto parts store and pick up another one here and put it on, and then go through the other calipers and lubricate them all on up. So that's it for now. Okay, as you can see, I got a replacement caliper here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up the edges right here. This is where you have metal-to-metal contact in here, and you want to make sure that this is all cleaned on up. And I'm going to actually put some copper anti-seize lubricant on the metal-to-metal parts here, again, to keep these shoes to be able to move freely as much as possible. That is, when you apply and of course release the brake. So I'll clean this on up and show you what it looks like here and put it together. Alright, I went ahead and cleaned up the edges on the shoes. And you can use a file, a wire brush, or even like a friction disc type material. Just cleaning them up a little bit. And really the next thing is to go ahead and put a little bit of lubricant on them. And I'm going to be using again this product that for anti-seize compound, which is really specifically designed for brakes, but it can be used in a lot of other type of high temperature applications. And by the way, you can actually get this at Napa Auto Parts, and which is kind of surprising, but nonetheless, you know, and it's pretty competitive for price-wise too. So we're going to just put a little bit of this stuff on the edge there, and you know, like I say, we're not going to go crazy here. We're going to put a little bit on here, and we're also going to go ahead and put a little bit on the actual brake caliper itself on the sliding surfaces. So it's pretty easy too to find out which pad went where. This one was on the out part of the side, you can see with the footprint. And of course on this one you can see the two rings here on for the piston side. So I'm going to put it together just like it was before. And I think that pretty much is it here. And I'm going to do the same a little bit here on my my caliper here, and then I guess it's time to put it together. Alright, so you can see I've got my pins all lubricated here, and my slideways, I guess you can say. Brake pads move relatively easy. I don't know if I can get that back on in there. There we go. Don't forget to put your spring clips in there. That keeps your brake shoes apart. You have to release the brake. And of course these guys here, your pins, they slide rather easy compared to what it was before. So we're ready to put this together. As far as actually clamping out the lines, you can see people doing different sorts of things. What I did is I just used a wood block, piece of plastic there, and clamp that wood block on each side of that banjo fitting down so that it keeps the fluid from running out. Outside. Okay. The torque specs on this are kind of high. Book says 130 foot-pounds, so that's what it's going to get. Double check. And double click this one too. Okay. Okay, then we're going to do the caliper to the hanger bolts here. These are supposed to be torqued to 42 foot-pounds. And of course you want to check your particular truck. Depends on the year what you have. And double click. Alright. Okay. What we're going to do now is take our bolt here that's got the heading inside there for our brake lines. Want to make sure this is really clean. I'm using a brake cleaner. And be careful with this stuff. You do not want to get it in your eye. And we're going to put on our brass washer. Take the clamp off here that I have set up. And situate this right. Stick on the other brass washer. Take off that little cap. And go ahead, put this together. Checking the torque again here. That's 26 foot-pounds. Check, put all your brake hose clamps on there. on there. Pretty stiff. Everything looks okay. So this side is done. Just need to bleed it. And bleeding is pretty straightforward. For that matter, you can use a vacuum pump, and although since we're so darn close to the brake caliper, or I'm sorry, the master cylinder, if we just break a line here, put a hose on down, wait a little bit of time, it'll practically bleed itself. So that's it for replacing the caliper on this side, plus lubricating your slideways on your brake pads and making sure that that all works together rather well. And as you can see, this thing slides rather easy now, completely different than what it was on the other one. And so this job is pretty much done. And let me say one other comment here, and that I didn't even know that I had a frozen pin on this. All I know is that when I hit the brakes, it was pulling to one side. Never had any issue whatsoever with brake odor indicating that the rotor was getting hot. So this just goes to show that, even though something you may not get the burning brake pad because the caliper is froze up, you could have problems. So it's just a good idea to go through and check it. And it's way long overdue. I should have did this a long time ago. So that's it for right now.